We're going to create now on the arm for our character an elbow lock attribute so that we can at the same time that we can use the IK handle, we can use the elbow to be locked on a place. Say the character, for example, could lean on a table and lock the elbows to the table and move the body and keep the elbows locked there. So let's try in doing that. So we're going to start by adding again a controller or an attribute to the FKIK controller. It can be actually anywhere, but I just put it here. I'm going to just add an attribute right there. And the same thing, I'm going to call this one left elbow lock. And I'm going to just make a boolean for that one again. I'm just going to say OK. And that's an elbow on and off option. Right now, the IK version of this is the one that is being driven by this object. So the character is being controlled by that, and inside of that, we have here is where we have the IK handle for it. That IK handle is receiving a constraint already. You can see the pole vector constraint that is being affected by the elbow controller, which is this little guy here. And in order for us to create a second constraint and connect it to it to a dimension tool, we are going to create a locator that is going to allow us to connect it. So I'm going to go and create a locator, split my screen in two actually, and on the front view I got my locator right there. I'm gonna just move it and snap it to the join. Let me try to get to it very closely so I have it right on the joint. Let me just hide the geometry for a moment, hold V, and that's snapped to the elbow. And I'm going to go to the side view here, and I'm going to push it to the center of my controller right there. Just push it back, straight back to that object right there. I'm going to modify freeze transformation, make sure that the freeze transformations is correct. Mine for some reason keep maintaining those unchecked. So when I freeze those transformations, I'm going to call this one left underscore elbow underscore control underscore 02. And that one allows me to create a second pole vector that is going to be modified there. I'm going to use an existing one that I already did, what I did for the knee. When I use that one for the elbow, you can go and create your new one. Let me see if I can go and click on it. Here it is. So I'm gonna find that one. I'm gonna just duplicate that whole group. I'm gonna remove it from that for now, and I'm gonna rename that one. Let me just get rid of the locator. I'm gonna rename this one. I'm gonna be elbow lock control, and I'm going to just call it elbow lock control, elbow lock CRV for curved control. I'm going to rename that, grab that and put it here as part of the group, and that way we have a unique name for it. And we're going to move that whole group up to that join better to that locator, so that way it is right there on the right location. I'm gonna just bring it out. Actually, I'm gonna modify vertex so I can grab those and bring them a bit more to the center of that, maybe like more like this, so that I can use that. I'm gonna just kind of go to the front view here and match it so that the center of it is touching there. That makes it a bit more precise. I got it right there. It could be really any object that you decide to use for that. So now we are going to use this guy is going to be a child of that guy. Press P on your keyboard, that way it's connected right there. Now we're gonna create a constraint from that locator to that IK handle. Let me grab the IK handle one more time, frame it here. That is my IK handle. So I'm gonna be clicking on that locator, clicking on the IK handle, and then I'm going to just create a constraint. I'm gonna go to my rigging, create a constraint, and it's gonna be a Paul vector constraint, 100% of influence. I'm gonna click that, and that makes that on the IK handle there is a second node that allows it to be controllable. So we're going to start by switching from one or the other one so that we can control both. So we're gonna create a set driven key. Let me just call my set driven key window, animation key, set driven key set, open it up, and we're going to load the controller, and the elbow lock is going to be driving, and it's going to be driving the IK handle, and we're driving the I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong one, not the IK handle, the Paul vector for that IK handle is the one that I'm going to be driving, and that elbow lock is going to be driving these two elbow attributes. So when my switch elbow lock is off, that means the first attribute, the first elbow is locator control weight is 1, Paul vector is 1, the second one is 0. So I'm going to, that way the first one is active, the second one is not. I'm going to just select both here, and I'm going to key that, and then I'm just going to go on reverse. So when this one goes to on, right, I come back here and I'm going to switch. So this one goes to 0 and this one goes to 1, and I'm going to key them again. So now you can see that if it goes to off, this constraint here is 1 0. When this guy goes to, I'm sorry, when this guy goes to on, it reverses. So now I can test it. So in this moment, this guy should be driving the Paul vector of the arm. So you can see the Paul vector acting there in the position where it is. If I go and switch this one to the other side, now the Paul vector is driven by this guy. So that gives me two different controls, but right now they're acting exactly the same way. They're just doing just switching from one Paul vector to the other one. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to, let me go to the top view here. We're going to create a let me just hide all the curves. I'll just say none, and just show the joints, show the locators, locators, there they are, and I'm also show well, actually those for now, and we are going to create from the shoulder to the locator a distance tool, and from the wrist to the locator another distance tool. So let's just do that one. And again, if I hide the joints, you realize that we already have locators there. Those locators come from the stretchy rig that we for the arm. And again, if you do not have a stretchy rig set up and there are no locators there, when you use the distance tool, it's going to create new locators, but those locators will need to be constrained to those joints. Otherwise, they are going to stay behind, and the tool, the knee lock, the elbow lock won't work. So I have the three constraints, the three locators there. So let me just go and create the measurement tool. I'm going to just hold V. I'm going to try to get very close on it here. I'm just going to go from this one. I'm going to hold V. So I snap my first one right there. And then I'm just going to hold V and snap my second one right there, and that made it. And make sure that the dimensions are connected here, so you can get my very first one. And then I'm gonna do the second one, which is this one. So I'm gonna just hold V, so I snap to that, and hold V, and I snap to this one. So in both cases, both dimensions get added there. I'm gonna call this one, the first one is going to be left underscore elbow underscore distance. That one's gonna be upper arm, and the next one is going to be left underscore elbow underscore distance underscore lower arm. That way we have both the very distinctively recognized. And of course, if we go and move our object here, those distance tools will move with it. Make sure you go back to 0 here, and of course now we're going to make the connection between those distance tools, the switch first, and then the join. So let me call the node editor, and in my node editor I'm just gonna go and clean up my space here. I'm gonna start by loading the controller, and the one that has the attribute is the control, not the shape. So this one is the one I'm going to use, and we are going to connect that one to a couple of things. We're going to get the dimensions, the shape of the dimension, try to get the both dimensions added there. Add those. So we're going to be using not these guys but the shape of those. So let me put those right here for a moment. Okay, and we are also going to connect that to the joints, and the joints are going to be connecting to is the wrist joint. Let me just make sure I click on the wrist joint. Let me turn off anything else but the joints. That one, and the elbow joint, that one. I'm going to add the plus sign, add those to it. So I'm going to have those right here connected. So and we have of course this connection already happening there. Okay, so let's try to make the connections again to see how that happens. So we're gonna start by connecting the controller to the distance by generating a condition. So I'm gonna just press tab on my keyboard and type condition. There is my condition, and the first condition I'm going to name it is going to be left elbow lock underscore condition 1, right? I'm gonna make a condition 2, but before that we're just gonna make the connection there. So we're gonna use an equal value there. So we're saying the very first term is going to be our controller. So we're gonna say our controller elbow lock attribute. I'll try one more time. Elbow lock, for some reason is not grabbing it. Let me see if I can grab it here. It's not liking to let me grab it from that. Alright, I'm gonna try to do it through the connection editor, general editors, connection editor. Sometimes Maya has some little funky things. So I'm gonna load this one on the left, I'm gonna load the condition on the right, and on the left is gonna have the elbow lock, and on the right I'm going to connect to the first term. There is, for some reason it wasn't letting me do it before. Now so we're saying if the first term is equal to 0, meaning the switch being off, the result would be that the scale of the joint, the translate of the joint will be the same as it is right now. So let me try to click on that one. Let me just lock anything else, just grab that one. And the scale of that one, the translated x on that one is this one. Why translating x? Because of course x is the edge or the axis that the joint is going to be moving in that direction. So the translated x of the elbow is the one that I'm going to be connecting here. So if those are equal, the result, those are 0, the result is that one. If they are not equal, the result should be the value of the distance that we have for the upper arm. So that means that we're going to just connect from this guy here. Let me see if we can get it to show. So from the upper arm distance, I'm going to try to get oh, actually, yeah, that's not the one. I gotta do it not from that one. I keep messing it up. It's not from that one. It's from the shape. Here is the distance shape. So I'm gonna do it one more time. So from the upper arm distance shape, I'm gonna go other here, and there is my distance, and I'm gonna connect that one to this guy. Color falls R. That way, color defaults are this RGB, so R is that one. And we got the very first one there. I'm gonna create the second condition so that we're gonna do the other one right away. So I'm gonna tab condition. There is. I'm gonna rename it left underscore elbow underscore lock underscore condition 02. And the same manner as going to be this guy. Let's see if it let me do it now. The elbow lock doesn't like it. I guess I gotta use the connection editor again. General connection editors. So when I say this one again on the left, and on the right we're gonna load that one, and we're saying that the elbow lock will feed the first term. There we go. Second term is 0, value is equal, color if true is going to be the placement of that joint, of the wrist joint on AX. So I'm going to copy that one and I'm going to paste it here on that color true. Now if those are not equal, the value here should be the shape of this distance, so which is the lower arm shape. So I'm going to just grab that one and then go and find the distance and connect that one to the color it falls in R, which is that one. So now if the switch is on or off, it's going to trigger those, but we have those conditions set taken care of. Now we need to make the connection for those to feed into those joints. So that's going to be pretty straightforward. Is the condition the out color in R of this guy is going to connect into the translate. Oh, it connected into something, but I don't know what it is. Let me just delete it again. Let me just open it up here. Oh, because this joint, there is a translate there, so I need to connect it to that. So I'm going to just do it through the connection editor one more time just to verify that I connected correctly. So here's my connection editor. So I'm going to load my condition on the left, and that's going to be the out color in R, and on the right is going to be this elbow, and that one is going to be driving the translate in X. Translating X. There we go. So we got that one, and then we're going to load the condition number 2. Same thing, and the joint that is going to be loaded there is the wrist joint. Same thing, translate in X is going to be added there. There's a little bit of warning here, but we'll see how that works. All right, so let's see. So if I have my IK handle, let me just turn it on here. My IK handle is working now, and I use my IK handle controller. You know, this one should work back and forth fine, while this guy manipulates its elbow up and down just to move it. Now, if I switch that to the positive lock, the elbow goes back to that guy. A little too far for what it needs, but actually this is going to allow me to move it here, and I will be able to move my character so that my try to move it from here better. My elbow is going to try to stay located where I need to be located, so that it'll give me an arm locked in place. Moving both back to 0 and bring that lock back to 0, and that way, you know, you can bring this back to 0 again, just to have it a bit more organized there. You're gonna repeat the process on the other arm, and the last thing that I need to do is on my outliner here. I'll try to put it in place. On my outliner here, I'm left with a bunch of assets that are outside of my main project. So I have an elbow controller, and that one I'm going to make it a I think you just have to follow something that so that it's not completely lost. I'm gonna make it child of this box, so that at least it can move. You can make it a child of that one if you want to, or if you can make it a child of the main controller, so that it can move at least with the rig. Let me try better make it a child of the main controller here. I don't want it to be affected by the movement of the rest of the body, so I'm going to move that one there, and now I have to make all these guys, all the distances, including the one that I have done for the leg that I did before. I'm going to move those distances as part of the all character group, so that way everything is part with my character. Now my character can be moved. You can actually hide those so you don't have them showing up. Those are more like a back information that you simply can just say Control H to hide them, so they are not visible anymore and they are not showing at all. So now my character is ready to be used with that lock for the knee and for the arm. I invite you to do the other arm, so, and of course the other leg. I haven't done it yet in this one, so that way you can have a full a lock arm and a knee together.